You can add to this ingredients of your choice. Hello and welcome to Hirschberger's Miracle Homestead. I am Dorothy, and today our kitchen action is going to be a healthy breakfast food or snack or whatever you want to call it. It is an oatmeal breakfast bar, and it's high in protein and a lot healthier than what you would find in these bars that you can purchase from the store, the general ones anyway. It doesn't have any preservatives in it, and what I'm going to be doing today, it will also be sugar-free. The recipe itself is not sugar-free, but I'm doing some substitutions so that it will be sugar-free. And I will give you the original recipe and also what I am doing in the substitutions that I'll be using. For this recipe, we need rolled oats. The original recipe calls for brown sugar and white sugar, but instead of that, I'm using Gentle Sweet, which is a Trim Healthy Mama product, and then molasses. And then we'll be needing baking powder, salt, ground cinnamon, and pure vanilla extract. It calls for canola oil, but I am using olive oil. And it calls for milk, and I chose to use almond milk. Oh, and also calls for 2 eggs. Some items that I'm putting in of my choice, I'll be adding chocolate chips, unsweetened coconut, and nuts. Okay, we will get this started. Let me move some things out of the way. I won't be needing the coconut, nuts, or chocolate chips until the very end, so I'll just set those over here. Then our dry ingredients we'll put in a bowl together here. Here are 2 cups of rolled oats, the old-fashioned rolled oats. And here is 1/3 cup of Gentle Sweet. And then I'll be putting in 1 teaspoon of molasses, but I'm going to put that in with the wet ingredients. And then we have 1½ teaspoons baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. The recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, but I really like cinnamon, and so I'm going to put in a 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, this is our dry ingredient, so we're going to mix this together. If you see dust coming, that's from the Gentle Sweet. That is kind of a powdery thing. Okay, we'll set this aside. Pull this in where we will do our wet ingredients. Here we have 2 eggs. Whoops. Got some shells in there. Whisk this together a little bit. Then we need 1 cup of milk. And I have chosen to use almond milk. Whisk that a little bit. Then we have 1 teaspoon of vanilla. 2 tablespoons of canola oil is what the recipe calls for, but I'm using 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 1. Well, that empties this bottle. 2. Okay, and then I chose to do the molasses last, so I have oil in the measuring spoon here, so it will come out easily. The recipe calls for 1/3 cup of brown sugar and 1 tablespoon of white sugar. So I'm using 1/3 cup of Gentle Sweet, and then I'll use a little bit more than a teaspoon of molasses. So I'll just kind of guess here. So that goes in here yet. And because of the oil in there, it just slips right on out. Otherwise, it would be a mess to get out. Okay, we'll whisk this together. Turns kind of a brownish color because of the molasses. Okay, now we're going to mix the wet and dry ingredients together. These are real good for something to grab for breakfast that's high in protein. They are good warm, they're good cold. Now what we do, this needs to just sit here for at least 20 minutes. I actually like to let it in a little bit longer than that. It needs to be a minimum of 20 minutes. I think some people actually mix it up to this point the evening before, let it in the refrigerator overnight, and then pull it out and add to whatever they want to it and bake it and have it warm for breakfast. We'll set it aside and we'll be back in about half an hour probably. Okay. Okay, we're back again. The oven is preheating. This has been soaking for about 45 minutes actually. The longer it sits, the oats absorbs the liquid and just helps everything out. Okay, now you can add to this ingredients of your choice. I have chosen to add a half a cup of chocolate chips, a third a cup of coconut, and a fourth a cup of pecans, chopped pecans. That's what I have chosen to add to this. And just mix it all together. You could add a variety of things. You could add dried fruit, cranberries, raisins, just whatever things that you like, you could add to this. And the chocolate chips I put to this were sugar-free. The coconut was unsweetened, and then the pecans. So this is a power-packed protein, healthy breakfast bars. This will go in an 8x8 pan. And I did grease the pan. It was sprayed with Pam spray. Just spread this out. So this recipe doesn't make a lot, but you could always double it if you want more than what this one makes. This is ready for the oven. It'll bake on 350 for 30 minutes. Then we'll check it and see if it's finished. And while this is baking, I'm going to get going with our supper. I'll be making cheesy ham chowder for our supper. It's a cold day, and so soup will be good. The recipe will be in the description box, along with the substitutions that I made so it became sugar-free. It was so good. And the cheesy ham chowder I was making for supper, we will share that with you on our next video, which will be coming out on Saturday. We thank you for being back in the kitchen with us today. And if this is your first time, we hope that you will consider subscribing. And as always, we appreciate the thumbs up and comments and hope that you'll share our videos on your social media. That is very helpful and we appreciate it. And now stay tuned for the Golden Thought.
Hi, and I welcome you to the Golden Thought of this episode. I am Martha, and I'm here with our brother, my twin brother, Marvin, and he's better known as Buddy. He's been Buddy for years and years and years, ever since he was a little lad. Isn't that right, Buddy? Yes. The Golden Thought for today is short and powerful. Praying for someone is like wrapping them in a blanket of God's love. And you can do that and they don't even know it. You can pray for someone. Many a times people are prayed for and they have no idea. And then other times it's nice to know that they are being prayed for. Recently someone was in tears as they shared with me that a friend of theirs not only told them that they're praying for them, but they specifically asked, how can I pray for you? So if God leads you to ask someone, how can I pray for you? Or just to give them a pat on the back, I'm praying for you. Or just in the quietness of your own home, but they don't even know it. I'm praying for you. You're wrapping them in God's love. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you've been blessed. We hope you've been inspired. Thank you, and God bless. Ain't that right, buddy? Yes, sir. You can shake my hand. All right, buddy. Shake my hand. That's good. That's good.